The volunteer looked me dead in the eye and said the words that should have made me walk away. "Sir, I need you to understand, this dog is going to break your heart. I'm standing in the coldest room I've ever been in, and it has nothing to do with the temperature. It's a Tuesday afternoon in March at the county shelter, and I've just made eye contact with something I wasn't ready for. A 13-year-old hound mix pressed into the corner of cage 47, like he's trying to disappear into the cinder block wall. His fur is more silver than black now. His body is more bone than muscle. One floppy ear hangs lower than the other, and you can count every rib through his coat. But it's his eyes that gut me. They look exactly like mine did 2 years ago when they handed me Claire's wedding ring at the hospital. Tyler, this college kid volunteer with a name tag that says, "Ask me about senior pets," starts rattling off everything wrong with this dog. Severe arthritis, stage 4 heart murmur, chronic inflammation, needs daily medication, and there's a mass in his abdomen. We haven't biopsied it yet. He pauses, uncomfortable. The vet estimates he's got maybe 3 to 6 months. I hear what he's saying. I understand the words, but I can't stop looking at Max. Tyler keeps going, getting more nervous. The adoption fee is waived for senior dogs, but his medical care is going to be expensive, very expensive. And I need to be clear, you'd be taking on a dog that's probably going to need end-of-life care soon. Another volunteer walks over, Jennifer, older woman who looks like she's seen everything. Her name tag says she's been here 12 years. She studies my face for a second, then says quietly, "Sir, I've seen a lot of adoptions. You're either the kindest person I've met, or you're about to learn a very hard lesson." I should listen to them. I know I should. I'm 48 years old. I fix houses for a living. I'm practical. I deal with reality. And the reality is, this dog is going to cost me a fortune and break my heart in a few months. But here's the thing nobody tells you about grief. It makes you do strange things. It makes you see yourself in the broken things nobody else wants. I kneel down next to the cage. Max finally lifts his head, just barely. And in that look, I see everything I've been feeling for 2 years. The exhaustion, the defeat, the sense that the best parts are already gone. "Let's go home, buddy," I whisper. Tyler makes me sign extra paperwork, acknowledgement of medical conditions, liability waivers, all of it. As I'm signing, Jennifer touches my arm. "What made you choose him?" I don't know how to explain it, so I just say, "Maybe we can figure this out together." What I don't say, what I can't say yet, is that I'm not really saving him. I'm hoping he can save me. Listen, Max didn't give up when his body was failing him. He didn't quit when everyone walked past his cage. So here's what I'm asking. If you've watched this far, if this story is touching something in you, don't just scroll past. Hit that subscribe button. Because there are thousands of dogs like Max waiting in shelters right now. And the only way their stories get told is if people like you give enough of a damn to click one button. Max fought for every single day. The least we can do is fight for the ones still waiting. Subscribe, please. Tyler opens the cage door, and the 3 dogs in the kennels next to Max go absolutely crazy. They're jumping, spinning, shoving their noses through the bars like their lives depend on it, like they know this might be their only shot. The barking echoes off the concrete walls as Tyler clips a frayed nylon leash to Max's collar. The dog doesn't move at first, just stands there in the cage doorway like he's forgotten what freedom looks like. I have to coax him out with my hand extended, palm up, the way you'd approach something wild and wounded. He takes one shaky step, then another. Jennifer appears beside me with a clipboard thick enough to be a small novel. "Conference room," she says, nodding toward a door at the end of the hallway. "We need to go over everything." The conference room smells like industrial cleaner and sadness. There's a poster on the wall about heartworm prevention and another showing the life cycle of fleas. Max collapses at my feet the moment we stop moving, his breathing labored and wet sounding. That rattling in his chest that Tyler mentioned, I can hear it now. Jennifer sits across from me and spreads out the paperwork like she's dealing cards. Standard adoption agreement, she says, sliding the first form over. But for Max, there are additional disclosures. I scan the first page. It's full of words like terminal, palliative, quality of life. Legal language trying to wrap itself around something that can't be quantified. How much heartbreak a person can sign up for. This one, Jennifer taps a second form, acknowledges that the shelter has fully disclosed Max's medical conditions and that you understand the financial and emotional burden involved. She pauses. I need you to initial next to each condition. I read them one by one. Degenerative joint disease, cardiac insufficiency, suspected abdominal mass. Each initial feels like I'm signing away another piece of the safety net I've been clinging to since Claire died. And this, she slides over the final form, is the liability waiver. It releases the shelter from any claims related to veterinary costs, end-of-life care, or emotional distress. Emotional distress. They actually put that in writing. I pick up the pen. It's one of those cheap ballpoints that barely works, the kind you have to scribble with first to get the ink flowing. My hand hovers over the signature line. Jennifer leans forward. Her voice drops lower, almost kind. Mr. Harrison, I've been doing this for 12 years. I've seen people adopt senior dogs before. Good people. But Max isn't just old. He's dying. And when he goes, it's going to hurt worse than you think, because you'll have gotten attached. You'll have spent thousands of dollars. You'll have rearranged your whole life. She glances down at Max, still collapsed at my feet. That's the lesson. That love always costs more than you budgeted for. I look at her, then down at Max. His eyes are half closed, but his tail gives one weak thump against the linoleum when he feels me watching. Maybe that's the point, I say, and I sign my name. The truck ride home takes 17 minutes. Max sits in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead like he's trying to memorize the world through the windshield. He doesn't pant or whine or do any of the things dogs usually do. He just exists there, this exhausted passenger I've committed my life to. When I pull into the driveway, I see it the way a stranger would, the way Max will. The grass hasn't been mowed in 3 weeks, maybe 4. Dandelions have taken over the front flower bed, the one Claire used to tend every Saturday morning with her coffee going cold on the porch railing. The blue paint on the front door is peeling at the bottom where the wood has started to rot. I've been meaning to fix it for 2 years. I fix everyone else's houses, just never my own. I open the passenger door and Max doesn't move. Can't move, maybe. So I slide my arms under him, one behind his front legs, one supporting his hips, and lift. He's heavier than he looks, dead weight in a way that makes my lower back protest. But I get him out, cradled against my chest like something fragile. The concrete path to the front door is cracked. Weeds push through the gaps. I have to step carefully because Max is awkward in my arms, and I can't see my feet. The blue door sticks like it always does. I have to hip check it open, and when it finally gives, the smell hits me. Stale air, dust, the particular emptiness of a house that's been occupied but not lived in. I haven't had anyone over since the funeral. Haven't wanted to. The place is exactly as Claire left it. Her reading glasses still on the coffee table, her garden clogs by the back door, the half-finished crossword puzzle on the kitchen counter from the morning she went to the hospital and never came back. I set Max down gently on the living room floor. He stands for maybe 3 seconds, taking in his new surroundings. Then his legs give out and he collapses onto his side with a soft grunt. The hardwood is covered in a thin layer of dust. There are cobwebs in the corner where the ceiling meets the wall. The couch still has the indentation where I used to sit, but the cushion next to it, Claire's spot, looks untouched, preserved. I kneel beside Max and run my hand along his spine. I can feel every vertebra. I know, I whisper. It's not much. I let things go. He turns his head to look at me, and in the afternoon light coming through the dirty windows, I see just how gray his muzzle really is, how tired his eyes are. We both did, didn't we? I say. Outside, the wind picks up and rattles the loose gutter I've been ignoring. The house creaks. Max's breathing rattles in response. And for the first time in 2 years, the silence doesn't feel quite so heavy. It just feels shared. I spend $73 at the pet store on a memory foam orthopedic bed, the kind with extra cushioning for arthritic joints. The sales kid promises it'll change Max's life. I set it up in the corner of the living room, the warmest spot in the house, near the radiator. I even put one of my old sweatshirts on top of it so it would smell familiar. Then I carry Max over and lower him onto it like I'm tucking in a child. He lasts maybe 4 minutes before he drags himself off and collapses back onto the bare hardwood floor. I try again. Same result. By the third attempt, I get it. He doesn't trust soft things anymore, doesn't remember what comfort feels like. Or maybe he does, and that's worse. Maybe he knows he doesn't deserve it. That night, I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to Max's labored breathing from downstairs. It's after midnight when I finally give up and head down to check on him. He's exactly where I left him, stretched out on his side on the cold floor, his ribs rising and falling in that awful wet rhythm. His eyes open when he hears me, but he doesn't lift his head. I stand there in my boxers and a t-shirt, looking at this dying dog on my floor, and something in me just breaks. I grab the sweatshirt from the fancy bed and spread it out on the hardwood next to him. Then I lie down. The floor is cold, unforgiving. My shoulder starts aching immediately, and I can already feel the regret my lower back is going to give me in the morning. But Max shifts slightly, just enough that his spine is pressed against my chest, and that rattling breath evens out just a little. "We're a pair, aren't we?" I whisper into the dark. My rotator cuff hasn't been right since I fell off a ladder last year. My knees sound like gravel when I climb stairs. I've got a prescription for blood pressure medication I keep forgetting to fill. Claire used to remind me, used to make sure I took care of myself. Now I eat cereal for dinner and work 12-hour days so I don't have to come home to the quiet. Max's breathing stutters, then settles. I feel the warmth of him through my shirt. "We're both falling apart," I say. "Aren't we, buddy?" He doesn't answer, just presses a little closer. I close my eyes and try to remember the last time I felt needed. The last time my presence mattered to something. Anything. It's been so long I can't picture it. But here, on this cold floor with this broken dog, I feel it. And I fall asleep with my hand on his side, counting his heartbeats like prayers. I wake up at 4 a.m. to the sound. At first, I think it's the radiator, that metallic clanking they make when the heat kicks on. But then I realize it's coming from Max, a wet, grinding rattle deep in his chest, like someone shaking a bucket of gravel. I sit up too fast and my back screams in protest. Max is still lying beside me, but his breathing has changed. Shallow, desperate. Each inhale sounds like it's being dragged through broken glass. "Max?" my voice cracks. "Hey, buddy?" His eyes open, but they're unfocused, glassy. I'm in the truck with him wrapped in a blanket before I've even fully woken up. The emergency vet clinic is 23 minutes away, and I make it in 16, running 2 red lights that don't matter at this hour. The fluorescent lights inside are brutal. A vet tech with purple scrubs and tired eyes takes Max from my arms without a word and disappears through a door marked "Authorized Personnel Only." I'm left standing at the counter, and a woman with a name tag that says Brenda slides a clipboard toward me. "We'll need a credit card on file," she says. Not unkindly, just matter of fact. 2 hours later, Dr. Patel comes out. She's younger than I expected, with dark circles under her eyes that tell me she's been up as long as I have. She sits down in the plastic chair next to me. "Max has fluid around his lungs," she says. "His heart is struggling to pump effectively. We've stabilized him, drained some of the fluid, and started him on diuretics and cardiac medication." I nod like I understand what any of that means. He's comfortable now, she continues. But Mr. Harrison, his heart condition is advanced. This is going to keep happening. She pauses. We need to start thinking about quality of life. Quality of life. There it is, the phrase Jennifer warned me about, the one that really means, how much suffering is too much? How much? I ask. I'm sorry? The bill, how much? She glances at her tablet. With the emergency exam, diagnostic imaging, thoracentesis, medications, and overnight monitoring, $3,500. $3,500 for maybe another month, maybe two. I think about my savings account, the one I've been building since Claire died because I didn't know what else to do with the money. Nothing to spend it on. Nowhere to go. Can I see him? I ask. Dr. Patel leads me back. Max is in a cage with an oxygen mask strapped to his muzzle. His eyes find mine immediately, and his tail thumps once against the metal floor. That single thump cost me $3,500, and I'd pay it again. Max comes home 2 days later with a pharmacy bag full of pills and a discharge sheet longer than my mortgage paperwork. Dr. Patel's instructions are clear. Cardiac medication twice daily, diuretics, anti-inflammatories, and something for the nausea the other medications will cause. And he needs to eat, she says, handing me the bag. His body is consuming itself. He's lost 3 pounds since you adopted him. 3 pounds he didn't have to lose. The first meal I try is the premium senior dog food the shelter sent home with us. Max sniffs it once and turns his head away like I've offered him poison. I try wet food. Same response. I even try the expensive grain-free stuff that costs more per pound than my own groceries. Nothing. On day 3, I'm standing in my kitchen at 2 a.m., and I do something I haven't done since Claire died. I cook. Chicken breast. Boiled plain, no seasoning, because Dr. Patel said his stomach can't handle anything rich. I shred it with 2 forks while it's still hot, and the smell fills the kitchen. It's the first time this room has smelled like food instead of dust in 2 years. I sit on the floor next to Max with the bowl. He doesn't move. Doesn't even open his eyes. So I take a small piece of chicken between my fingers and hold it near his nose. His nostrils twitch. Then finally his eyes open. Come on, buddy, I whisper. Just try. He lifts his head maybe 2 inches and takes the chicken from my fingers so gently I barely feel it. He chews slowly, carefully, like he's forgotten how. I feed him piece by piece. It takes 20 minutes to get through half a cup, and by the end my hand is cramping, but Max has eaten. It's the smallest victory imaginable, but I sit there on the kitchen floor and feel something I haven't felt in years. Hope. The real miracle happens on day 6. I'm in the living room, replacing the washers in the kitchen faucet I've been ignoring, when I hear the sound, the click of nails on hardwood. I turn around and Max is standing, not just propped up on shaking legs, but actually standing. His head is up. His tail, God, his tail is doing this slow, uncertain wag. Max? He takes 1 step toward me, then another. His gait is stiff and painful looking, but he's walking. He makes it 5 feet before his legs start to buckle, and I'm there to catch him, lowering him gently to the floor. I'm crying, and I don't even realize it until I feel the wetness on my cheeks. You stood up, I say, my voice breaking. You stood up on your own. Max licks my hand once, and in that moment, I believe what I've been too afraid to believe. That maybe broken things can heal. That maybe we both can. For 11 days, we have a routine. I wake up at 6 a.m., feed Max his pills wrapped in cheese, then cook his chicken while my coffee brews. He eats from my hand, takes short walks around the living room. Some days he even makes it to the front porch to feel the sun on his face. I start coming home for lunch, start turning down the evening jobs that would keep me out past dark. For the first time since Claire died, I have a reason to be home. Day 17 is a Tuesday. I take a roofing job in Millbrook, 40 minutes away, but it pays well and it's only supposed to take 4 hours. I leave Max with fresh water, his noon medications laid out on the counter, and a bowl of shredded chicken in the fridge. I'll be back by 2, I tell him, scratching behind his ears. You'll be okay. His tail wags. I believe him. The job takes 6 hours instead of 4 because the decking is rotted through and needs replacing. By the time I'm loading my tools into the truck, it's almost 5 p.m., and the guilt is already eating at me. I call Max's name the moment I walk through the blue door. Nothing. Max? The chicken bowl is untouched. The pills are still on the counter. And Max? He's collapsed in the hallway between the living room and kitchen, lying on his side in a way that looks wrong. Too still. His eyes are open but unfocused, staring at nothing. No, 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 no. I'm on my knees beside him, hands shaking as I press my palm to his chest. His heartbeat is there, but it's wrong, fast and irregular, like a drum with broken skin. His breathing is barely visible, shallow gasps that sound like they're coming from somewhere far away. I scoop him up and he's dead weight in my arms. His head lolls against my chest. The drive to the emergency clinic is a blur. I run every red light, lay on the horn at every intersection. Max doesn't move the entire time, doesn't even open his eyes. I'm screaming his name by the time I hit the parking lot. A vet tech sees me through the glass doors and comes running out. He won't wake up, I'm saying, but I don't recognize my own voice. He was fine this morning. He was fine. I shouldn't have left him. I shouldn't have. Sir, we've got him. She's taking Max from my arms. We've got him. Come inside. But I can't move. I'm standing in the parking lot, staring at my empty hands, and all I can think is that this is my fault. I left him alone, and now he's dying. And I might have just run out of time to tell him he saved me too. Dr. Patel finds me in the waiting room an hour later. I've been sitting in the same plastic chair, staring at the same motivational poster about pet dental health, trying not to think about what empty hands feel like. She sits down beside me, and I already know it's bad because she's not standing. Doctors stand when they deliver good news. They sit when they need you to be sitting too. Max has a complete intestinal blockage, she says. We're not sure what caused it. Could be a mass, could be scar tissue, could be something he ingested. But his bowels are obstructed and they're starting to shut down. I nod like I understand, but all I hear is, shut down. He needs surgery. Tonight. We'd have to go in, find the obstruction, remove it, and resection the damaged tissue. She pauses. It's high risk. His heart is already compromised. The anesthesia alone could kill him. And even if he survives the surgery, there's significant chance of complications. What's the percentage? My voice sounds far away. 60% survival rate, maybe less given his age and cardiac condition. 60%, a coin flip with worse odds. And if we don't do it? He has maybe 12 hours. The toxins will build up in his system. He'll go into septic shock. She looks at me directly. It won't be peaceful. I close my eyes. Behind my eyelids, I see Max standing on his own for the first time. His tail wagging. The way he takes chicken from my fingers like it's communion. How much? I ask. $6,000, give or take, depending on what we find when we open him up. $6,000. I walk outside to my truck, sit in the driver's seat with the door open and my boots on the asphalt. Pull up my banking app on my phone. Checking account, $1,247. Savings account, $14,389. That savings account is everything I have. It's the emergency fund Claire made me promise to keep. It's the buffer between me and catastrophe. It's the roof repair I'll need next winter, and the transmission that's going to fail eventually, and the future medical bills I'll have when my knees finally give out. It's my safety net, and I'm about to cut it loose for a 13-year-old dog with a 60% chance of dying on the table anyway. I think about what Jennifer said at the shelter. You're about to learn a very hard lesson. But here's what she didn't understand. I already learned the lesson. I learned it when Claire died, and I realized that playing it safe doesn't protect you from anything. that you can eat right and exercise and save money, and it doesn't matter because the worst thing still happens. I've been safe for 2 years, and I've been dying the whole time. I call the clinic. Do the surgery, I say. Mr. Harrison, do it. I'm authorizing the full amount, whatever it takes. Logic says this is insane. Logic says you don't bet your future on a losing hand. But love isn't logical. And Max taught me that living isn't either. They take Max into surgery at 7:43 p.m. I know because I watch the clock on the waiting room wall, and that's the exact minute the second hand becomes the only thing keeping me tethered to reality. Dr. Patel said it would take 2 to 3 hours, maybe more. I sit in the same plastic chair, watch families come in with their pets, a cat with a torn ear, a puppy who ate something he shouldn't have, a beagle limping on 3 legs. They all leave eventually, their emergencies resolve. I stay. At 9:15, I text my foreman and tell him I won't be on the job tomorrow. At 10:30, I buy a coffee from the vending machine that tastes like burnt rubber. At 11:47, I realize I'm praying, even though I haven't prayed since the hospital chaplain asked if I wanted to say goodbye to Claire. Midnight comes and goes. The waiting room empties out. It's just me and a woman in the corner whose ancient poodle is in kidney failure. We don't speak. We just wait in our separate hells. At 1:23 a.m., Dr. Patel pushes through the double doors. She's still in her surgical scrub cap, and there's blood on her shoes. I stand up so fast the room tilts. "He made it through," she says, and I have to sit back down because my legs forget how to work. We found the obstruction, a section of intestine that had essentially died. We removed 8 inches of bowel and resectioned what was left. It was touch and go during the procedure. His heart rate dropped twice, and we had to stabilize him, but she pauses, and for the first time tonight, she smiles. "He's stable now. He's a fighter, Mr. Harrison. Can I see him?" "Give us 20 minutes to get him settled in recovery." 20 minutes feels longer than the entire 6 hours before it. When they finally let me back, Max is in a large kennel, an IV in his leg, a drainage tube coming out of his abdomen, a shaved patch on his belly held together with staples that look like they belong on a construction site. But his eyes are open. And when he sees me, when our eyes meet through the kennel bars, his tail moves. It's barely a wag, more like a twitch. Just the tip of his tail lifting off the blanket and tapping down twice. But it's there, and that's when I break. I'm on my knees in front of the kennel, and I'm sobbing. These ugly, gasping sounds I didn't know I could still make. The kind I haven't cried since Claire's funeral. "You did it," I'm saying, but I don't know if I'm talking to Max, or to God, or to myself. "You stubborn, beautiful dog. You did it." Max's tail wags again, stronger this time, and I realize I'm not crying because I almost lost him. I'm crying because for the first time in 2 years, I'm not afraid of losing something I love. I'm just grateful I have something to lose. 6 months later, I'm sitting on the front porch watching Max investigate a butterfly in the yard. He's not running. He'll never run again. But he's moving, that stiff-legged walk that's more determination than grace. And his tail is up, and he's interested in the world again. The grass is mowed. The flower bed has new soil and the kind of marigolds Claire used to plant every spring. The blue door has a fresh coat of paint, and the gutter doesn't rattle anymore when the wind picks up. Max still takes a pharmacy's worth of pills every morning. He still sleeps on the hardwood floor, though now I've put down blankets and he actually uses them. He still has days when his breathing sounds like gravel, and I have to carry him outside to feel the sun. But he's here. My bank account hasn't recovered. I picked up extra shifts, took jobs I used to turn down, and I'm rebuilding slowly. The transmission did fail, like I knew it would, and I had to finance the repair. But I'm managing. Because here's what I've learned. Money comes back, time doesn't. The butterfly lands on a dandelion that I intentionally left standing, and Max lowers his head to investigate. His tail wags, that full, sweeping wag he didn't have 6 months ago. I think about Tyler at the shelter, about Jennifer's warning, "You're about to learn a very hard lesson." They were right. I did learn a lesson, just not the one they thought. Max didn't break my heart, he broke it open. He showed me that the cracks are where the light gets in, that being broken isn't the end of your story, it's just the chapter where you decide whether you're going to stay shattered or let someone help you piece it back together. I was so afraid of losing one more thing that I'd stopped having anything at all. Max taught me that the risk is the point, that loving something fragile and temporary and imperfect is the only thing that makes you feel alive. He pads back up the porch steps, breathing hard, and collapses at my feet with a satisfied grunt. I reach down and scratch behind his ears, feeling the warmth of the sun on both of us. "We did okay, didn't we, buddy?" I whisper. His tail thumps against the wood. I look at the house behind us, clean windows, swept porch, the kind of home someone actually lives in instead of just survives in. I look at Max, his gray muzzle resting on my boot, his eyes closing in contentment. And I think about Claire, about how she'd be glad I finally let someone else in, how she'd love this stubborn dog who refused to quit. The shelter volunteer was wrong about one thing. Max didn't break me, he saved me. And in the end, that's the purest love there is, the kind that doesn't fix you or complete you, but reminds you that being broken is just another word for being human. And that's enough. That's always been enough.